Here are my top 10 favorite black superheroes over at DC Comics. Hi, I'm Jordan the Nerd of Gold, and I didn't really know what to necessarily do for Black History Month to celebrate it, but someone gave me a simple suggestion, in that just list my top 10 favorite heroes from DC Comics on that front. So this is that list. And I do want to say this isn't like kind of an objective, I think these characters are cooler list. I just happen to like some of these more, so this is very subjective. Don't take it too seriously. Number 10 is going to be Bronze Tiger. Bronze Tiger is an excellent martial artist, cool suit. He has a very similar origin to Batman on that front, and I really wish DC Comics would do more with him because I feel like that's a no-brainer. Black superhero who that's very similar to Batman is an easy sell on that front. I don't know why they don't do more with him. Next on the list is going to be Mr. Miracle, Shiloh Norman. Shiloh Norman is the other Mr. Miracle who isn't Scott-free, Jack Kirby's original creation, but Grant Morrison did something really cool with him in the Seven Soldiers miniseries, and I really like that story. He's shown up in a few other places, but I still love that original mini enough that Shiloh makes my list. Next on the list is going to be Onyx. Onyx is the bodyguard to Orpheus, two characters from the early 2000s that were kind of Batman's like contingency plan to control crime in Gotham that was explored in the War Games storyline, which I don't particularly care for because of what it did to Stephanie Brown. But before that point, what they were setting up with Orpheus and Onyx, I thought was really cool, and she's a kick-ass martial artist who operates in Gotham. I don't know why we don't see more of her. She seems really cool. Next on the list is going to be Green Arrow, Connor Hawke. I often forget that he's not just mixed Asian heritage from Oliver Queen. He's also mixed heritage black as well. And therefore, he gets to make my list because I really like Connor Hawke. I think he's an excellent legacy hero character who I forget sometimes because he's drawn in a way that he does look mixed, but I think of him as sometimes as being South Asian mixed rather than having black heritage on that front. But he does have black heritage, so yeah, he gets to make my list on that front. Next on the list is going to be Black Lightning, one of the original or oldest heroes. One of the oldest black superheroes in DC Comics. He also weirdly has the fewest number of issues as a solo character, which is wild because he is really cool. There was a whole TV show about him. That was great for the most part. I mean, I really liked a couple of the seasons. I never actually finished that show. I should finish that. But yeah, overall, I like Jefferson Pierce. I really like the fact that we have a teacher who's stepping out of his role and like doing more for the community as a superhero. I think that's a really compelling thing. And plus, he's got a family that has superpowers too. That's an incredible dynamic. I don't know why we're not doing more with that. Next on the list is going to be Vixen. Vixen I've talked about before. I think she's got a lot of potential. She is an amazing hero. She has animal powers. She's got magic connections. She's a supermodel too. So not only can you realistically lean into like the cheesecake stuff that comic book artists have always kind of leaned into, and it makes sense, but also, there's plenty of women who love that kind of stuff. You can play around with fashion in a way that they don't often see in DC Comics, and you can do it with her, and it makes a lot of sense. And again, she's an international player. She's a strong character on her own. I really think Vixen can hold down a solo series. I don't know why we haven't seen more of her. I really liked her time as the leader of the Justice League under Steve Orlando's run. I thought that was really fun. Next on the list is going to be John Stewart, the Green Lantern. I would have John Stewart higher on this list, but the DCAU, where he was in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited and only shot bubbles and beams over on that show, has always slightly annoyed me on that front because I thought that was an incredibly wasteful use of the Green Lantern as a character, because the Green Lantern is an incredibly creative power, and that show did like nothing for creativity of a Green Lantern. So that part has always held me back on that. That being said, I like everything else about John Stewart, and John Stewart in the comics is much better than he was on the show. I really think he's a compelling lead. I cannot wait to see what he's going to do over in the new DC universe with James Gunn in the Lanterns TV show. That's very exciting. I'm really looking forward to that. I really like John Stewart overall, but yeah, that Justice League stuff where it was beam and balls, I can't not associate with that. That annoyed me. Okay, next on the list is going to be Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific, I always like the smart characters. That's something that I've always liked. Like in Star Trek, I've always liked Spock more than the rest of the original crew, just because he's the smart one out of them. And that same holds true for Mr. Terrific. In the JSA, he is the really intelligent one. I think his power gimmick separates him from other smart characters, the fact that his T-mask makes him invisible to other technology, is a very simple but cool gimmick. He is invisible to being spied on by basically everyone. I think that's very cool. And the fact that he has all these floating spheres, he has that cool scene in Superman. Everything works really well for Mr. Terrific, and I really want to see more of him. He's a character who I think could hold down a longer solo series than he's been given a chance for in the past, and I would like to see more from him. Next on my list is going to be Cyborg. This shouldn't be a surprise. Cyborg is an amazingly popular character ever since he was introduced in the mid-'80s. I grew up kind of catching up on reading older Teen Titans stories and reading them and really enjoying that. And then the Teen Titans 2000 show hit, and that was amazing. And I loved that show when I was growing up. I actually remember one time where I wasn't a very good birthday guest because I wanted to go watch that because they were doing stuff with Cyborg in that episode. I remember that. I apologize to my friend if you remember that too. But yeah, Cyborg is a really popular character for good reason. I really like him, and he should be one of DC's top tier heroes in a way that he isn't given the chance to, in my opinion. And number one is going to be Steel. What can I say? I'm a sucker for Superman related stuff, and Steel is a great character on that front. He is Superman's highly intelligent friend. He's the guy who, when Superman died, stepped up and followed in Superman's example the way he could by making himself a suit of armor, and he takes inspiration from the John Henry Irons folktale where he beat the machine. And yeah, I just really love Steel overall. There's basically not a Steel comic that I don't like. The only thing that comes close is I didn't care as much for his apocalyptic look, and when they were trying to do something a little darker with him, I don't think that quite worked. But everything else about Steel I absolutely love. And what can I say? He's got the big hammer, and characters with hammers, they kind of rule when it comes to the comic book page. It's very fun to use that as a weapon. Overall, I really like Steel. He's one of my favorite characters, and he has been for a long time. Those are my top 10 favorites. Let me know who your favorites are.